thanks to the likes of Hollywood,
That's a knife.
sun-deprived Brits, and Australia's reincarnation of Jesus, you'd be forgiven in believing Australia was nothing more than a few beaches, crocodiles, and some cheeky lifeguards. But there's another side to Australia that is less understood and mostly forgotten, the side of dirt tracks and cattle, one-road towns filled with cowboys and farmers. So today we head to Corryong, a town with a population of 1,300, situated on the border of New South Wales and Victoria, to witness the Man from Snowy River Bush Festival. I took the train from Melbourne to Albury to meet mates Pat and Izzy, currently living in Corryong as school teachers. Pat's also pretty handy behind the camera, so we went up to the local and planned the week ahead. The Man from Snowy River Bush Festival is a 5-day event celebrating, well, the Man from Snowy River. The Man from Snowy River is a title of one of Australia's most celebrated poems, written by esteemed Australian poet and journalist Banjo Patterson. You can see his cheeky face on the $10 note as well. Among a reenactment of the poem, the festival includes live music and whip cracking, beer drinking and dog jumping, with the main event being a rodeo, consisting of cowboys riding bucking broncos and bulls to be crowned the Wrangler Extreme Broncos champion. But first, we needed tickets. Fortunately for us, Pat had negotiated a deal with one of the locals, Trevor, to shoot footage of his band at the festival in exchange for some free tickets. We made our way to the first performance at the local museum to meet Trevor and the band. So we've got the gear, we've got Pat, and we're going to go record an old band today, the start of the actual event.
Hello. Hello. How are you?
Trevor, how are you?
Andrew?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. Trevor and the Bonza Blokes Bush Band were a country bush band who wrote and played songs about life in the country. As the average age of the band, well, excluding Jim, was around 75, with 2 of the members passing the year before, Trevor was keen to get some footage of their sets before anyone else unwillingly left the band.
Jack Riley was his name, and he was the man that banjo broke to fame. Well, he chased the wild bush horses, never made a slip. They returned cowed and beaten underneath Jack Riley's whip. Thank you.
The next set was to take place on the main stage, giving us the first glimpse of the festival. Alright, we're just walking into the festival now. There's a bit going on around us, to be honest. There you go, look at this. How are you feeling, Pat? Bit nervous?
Hellos and out the back, veranda out the front, and an old rocking chair.
Watching Trevor's band play to an audience averaging a similar age to his band, singing songs reminiscing on the past, made me wonder of the future of country towns and the farming community. The outback is painted as a tired lifestyle, with it falling to the wayside the past few decades, lacking funding and infrastructure. Made harder as of late, having this guy as your political spokesman for the bush, but while it lacked youth, it didn't lack community, something more apparent in country towns. And I saw this firsthand, as after this show, I was roped into jumping on the back of a ute to sell firewood to camping festival goers, to raise money for the local football club.
Wood for sale. Alright, pay the lady, I'll help you out. Alright, firewood? Alright. $1 a bag, $30 for 2. It's bags, eh? Yeah, they're taking half a bag for a fucking cut and dry, that's a good day. Jeez. That's it, Brenda, let's go. Thanks, boys.
The next day was a big event of the festival, the reenactment of the Man from Snowy River.
Alright, we've just gotten to the reenactment of the Man from Snowy River. It's 9 AM, we've snuck in with Trev.
Thanks for the lift, Trev.
No worries.
Getting us in the festival.
We're going to have a look around and check it out.
The poem tells the story of a skilled horseman, Jack Riley, who takes part in a daring horseback chase to recapture a valuable colt that has escaped into the wild. The poem was turned into a movie in 1982. Becoming a cult classic. As we looked on with the other 4,000 odd cowboys, we observed a group of men on horsebacks galloping across the field, skillfully herding a group of horses at a blistering pace. Prior to this, just witnessing a bit of bloody whipping and horse cracking, my exposure to horses was limited to the saddle club, so witnessing them dart around the paddock was pretty impressive. And after a few cracking of whips and more music, the reenactment was over. Here we are, Corryong Bush Festival, the reenactment of the Man from Snowy River, done and dusted, and then we'll keep going. We had arrived at our last day of the festival, the day we were most excited for, the rodeo. We spent the morning checking out the festival parade and then made our way into the gates for the big event.
Where were we this morning?
The parade.
We spent the morning at the parade and now we're off to see the dogs compete and then we're off to the bloody rodeo.
We got a cheeky Dagwood dog, then spent the next 30 minutes trying to find a seat.
This is where the rodeo is going to be a bit later on. It's actually looking pretty cool. Look at that.
After some dog jumping, the main event began, the Bronriding. The rules for the Bronriding were as followed. The objective was to stay on the horse for a minimum of 8 seconds. Anything under that would disqualify the ride. Points are awarded for the rider's control, spurring technique, and the difficulty of the horse they are riding. The rider with the highest score at the end of the event is declared the winner. I've seen a lot of sport and a lot of impressive stuff, but I've got to say, seeing these cowboys fly around on these 600 kilo death machines, flung off, being what's looked to be centimetres away from taking a hoof to the face, was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. Think about how painful it would be to take a hit from the likes of Jonathan Brown, LeBron James, or even worse, John Jones. Now add another 500 kilos onto that and see how you go. You could see these guys were the stars of their community, and it was well deserved. And with that, the festival for us was over. As we walked past the now closed stalls, me and Pat took a moment to chat about the past few days. From kids cracking whips to country music singing of times now forgotten, the Bush Festival was an experience like no other. Living in the heart of Melbourne, surrounded by overpriced coffees and the drawl of finance bros and entrepreneurs, quickly forget there's another side of Australia. And while the country life isn't for me, it was a breath of fresh air. Seeing cowboys and cowgirls of all ages, enjoying moments lost on us city folk, excited for activities and events unheard of in major cities, united as one to remember the man from Snowy River.